we're just going to keep it rolling here, ladies and gentlemen. Our next presentation is going to be from Crown Electrokinetics. It's ticker CRKN. And I see Doug there. Doug Croxall. How are you, sir?
Good, Brent. How you doing?
I'm doing well. The last guest wanted me to put on the crown. Should I?
Well, you can leave it on for my presentation.
You like it? So I was asking earlier. Awesome. I was asking earlier, should I wear it this way or the upside down way? What do you think?
I like it the other way.
You like it? Okay, the traditional way. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, sir. I will let you have at it, Doug. Let's learn a little bit about Crown Electrokinetics.
You got it. So Crown is a smart glass company. And our first product is what we call a smart glass insert. And for those of you who are familiar with smart glass, what Crown has developed, which was initially started with Hewlett-Packard, is a thin film. And that film comprised of material, and it encapsulates pigment. And that pigment can be any color. And the importance of our film is that it does something that pretty much all building owners need to have accomplished. It blocks light from entering into an office. And by doing that, we lower the amount of energy that the HVAC needs to keep a room cooler. And it saves building owners money. And more importantly, it reduces the amount of carbon that buildings are putting into the environment. So our insert is designed to work with existing buildings. And that is the first product that we're launching. We're launching that product in Q1 of calendar 22. And we're moving quickly to develop, build, and ship that product by that time frame. So just speaking, quickly about the history of our company, as I mentioned, this technology was actually started by HP back in 2007. When HP split into two, a lot of the R&D projects were not kept by either company. And this was one of the projects that I thought had a lot of opportunity. So what we bought was a fully functioning lab, production equipment, R&D equipment, a team of engineers, and a very strong intellectual property portfolio comprised of patents and trade secrets. In 2017, we didn't actually start off looking at buildings for the first application of our technology. We actually started off looking at sunroofs in the automotive market, and we were pulled into that market by two of our partners at the time. And we went through this very intricate process of customer discovery, where we started speaking to all sorts of prospective customers. We talked to people in the automotive market. We talked to people in the all the other transportation markets, residential windows, residential skylights, front doors. And then we eventually got to a company called Hudson Pacific, which is a New York Stock Exchange listed REIT. We demonstrated the technology for the management team at Hudson, and they loved it. They actually became an investor in the company and have been very important partner to help us really design this so that it works for not just their 110 buildings, but for a lot of the other REITs that we're talking to. And so the company went public in January of 2021. We're listed on NASDAQ. We raised $21 million in that offering. So exactly what does our film do? And it's actually really simple. It's very difficult to manufacture our film, but it's a very simple process to explain. So the two top and bottom layer of our film is comprised of polyethylene, and then on the inside of the polyethylene facing each other are layers of indium tin oxide. Indium tin oxide is a transparent, highly conductive material. And then within that, you can see we create a little cellular structure with walls and wells. And when we take our nano-sized pigment, which is positively charged, and when it's pulled down into the wells, it's invisible to the human eye. And with a very light amount of electricity, we can expel that pigment back out into the open area so that the human eye can see it. And so with a little bit of electricity, we can actually make the film invisible, clear, or dark. And again, we can use any color of pigment. Of course, everybody wants black, so that's the color that we're focusing on. If you go to our website, we have lots of different videos demonstrating our technology and our products. This is just a quick snapshot of what the technology looks in the clear state and in the dark state. Okay, so what exactly is an insert and how does it work? So an insert is designed to connect to the inside of an office window. And it actually functions as a second pane. And with that, we get a lot of insulative properties. And when our film is applied to the insert, we're blocking up to 99% of the visible light and about 94, 95% of the infrared light. There are three types of lights: ultraviolet, infrared, or IR, and visible light. The visible light and the infrared light are mainly responsible for what's called heat gain, or the greenhouse effect. And so by absorbing 99% of the visible light and 95% of the infrared, we keep the office cooler longer. And we just did a field test where we announced that actually here in Los Angeles, where we're able to save the building we're in a minimum of 26% of their HVAC energy cost on an annualized basis. So it's a pretty significant cost savings. It's got a very compelling ROI for the building owner. And more importantly, it's preventing unnecessary carbon from entering our atmosphere, which we think is, a very noble purpose in today's very challenging climate scenario. Continuing with the actual design of the insert. So we have a thin piece of glass. It'll be about 1 millimeter in thickness, our film, a frame that sits around that glass. It snaps onto the existing window frame of the office building. And then we do something really unique. We have a solar strip that takes the sun's energy and powers batteries. And that is the energy source for transitioning our insert from clear to dark. All the other smart glass technologies, you have to hardwire the window into your electrical system of the building. Because we're low voltage and very low wattage, we don't require that much energy to transition our film, which means it's a self-contained unit, not connecting to your electrical system, which makes the installation of our insert very, very easy. It literally snaps into place and it can be removed very quickly as well. The insert has the ability to communicate not only with all the other inserts in your office, but with all the inserts in the entire building. And that communication is important because now what we can do is we can track the sun as it moves across the sky, and the building's windows can tint intelligently to optimize for energy savings and carbon reduction. We also have the ability to gauge the temperature in the office, the temperature outside the building, the amount of light that's coming through. We know how our insert is functioning, and we're receiving that data so that we can help the building owner or the tenant lower their energy costs. Crown actually has a production facility in Corvallis, Oregon. The technology was originally developed by HP in their printer division, which is headquartered in Corvallis. What you're looking at on the lower right side is what we call our R&D tool. That's where we perfect our design and our material set and the process of embossing. On the left lower side, you'll see our actual production tool encased in a clean room. And this is the tool that will start producing 6-inch width and 12-inch width film. It's a roll-to-roll machine. So we'll spool up a kilometer worth of film and run it at about a 6-inch width. And then we will use those 6-inch strips to put onto the glass for the insert. So we have our own capabilities to produce our own film. We've already bought and paid for the material and the production tool, and we're working aggressively to move towards first product shipped Q1 2022. I briefly discussed our intellectual property portfolio. This originally came from HP. We have added a lot of new patent applications to our portfolio. We're prolific inventors and prolific patent filers as well. But we not only have patents, we also have a lot of trade secrets. So a lot of what we do, we don't seek patent protection, and we keep as a company trade secret. So from a competitive standpoint, the primary competitive technology is called electrochromic, which is in the second row here. Electrochromic is it's actually a glass-based material as opposed to a film-based material. So it's much more expensive, to manufacture. It's much more expensive material set, and therefore it's a more expensive product in the market. We're truly affordable, and our ROI is based on cost savings, and not any other, we make people happy in your office and therefore you can charge more. So we're pretty traditional in that sense. And if you look across the column, the important areas to really understand are the retrofit and the power usage. The reason we can be a retrofit product, which gives us access to a massive market, is that we have very low power usage to transition our film, which means we do not have to connect to your electrical system. If an electrochromic company wanted to put inserts or new windows in an existing building, you're going to have to tear the windows out. You're going to have to wire every one of those windows into your electrical system. It's very costly. Frankly, because we're pigment-based, we can do black. The other technologies have struggled to get to black, and typically you'll see a gray or a dark blue or even a purple. And our transition time is a matter of seconds versus anywhere from 5 to 40 minutes for the electrochromic technologies. Benefits of dynamic tint. I mentioned, the affordability. We're priced incredibly attractive, which gives the building owners a really compelling ROI. The low energy requirements allows us to go into the retrofit market where no other smart glass company can go. The color neutrality, the speed of our film, and frankly, the sustainability of what we build. I mean, we're making film. It doesn't require the same amount of energy or the same amount carbon footprint that electrochromic or a glass manufacturer would. I mentioned our target market. We're very focused on the office buildings and the REITs that own those. We're in discussions with about 20 plus REITs at this point. We have many that we have moved along towards first contract, and we're expecting first contract in calendar Q4 of this year. We're very focused on the U.S. market. We have been asked to get some of our product out to Asia, Middle East, obviously, and Europe, and we will eventually get to those markets as well. But the United States represents an immediate and local opportunity for us. I talked about sustainability. It's a big initiative. I mean, every single building owner has a problem, and their problem is windows are inefficient insulators. They're terrible at keeping air conditioning in or heat in during the winter. And therefore they have to use a lot of energy. When they use that energy, they produce a lot of carbon. So we're able to really change the calculus for a building owner. We can put our inserts in a building. We can lower the amount of energy that they're using to run their HVAC. And that in turn lowers the amount of carbon that they're putting in the environment. And we think that our insert and our technology can have a meaningful effect on reversing the current climate trend. There is a number of great human beings that work at Crown. We take our culture very, very seriously, and we take our employee base very seriously. The people you see on this slide is the executive leadership team, and there's no chance we would go anywhere without the people on this screen. And more importantly, some of the newer people that we've brought in to really help us move our R&D technology to a commercial product, into manufacturing, and then eventually into the market. And the gentlemen and the ladies that work at this company, they're very passionate about changing the world. And they're very passionate about lowering the amount of carbon that buildings put into the environment. And it drives us every day. So just from an investment highlight standpoint, we're a pretty small company. We have a fairly modest market cap at this point, but we have a massive market opportunity. When you think about all of the existing office buildings in the United States, it's a huge market. And we'll have a product that nobody else can produce and no other competing smart glass companies can produce. And we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to move as quickly as we can to cover as much space as we can. And typically when you engage with the REITs, if something works for one of their office buildings, it's going to work for all of their office buildings. So by getting one REIT as a customer, we're pretty confident we're going to get certainly more than one building within that portfolio. So we're very excited about our future, and we look forward to delivering the product in Q1 of 22. Brent, do you have any questions?
Awesome, Doug. Yeah, I have like a ton of questions. You really got the audience going here with this one. They are interested and asking some good questions. We're not gonna be able to get to all of them, of course, but let's ask a few here. A few users were asking about what happens with like the natural light coming in. Like somebody said, if you're in dark mode, obviously you need more light on the inside. Another chatter asked, what percentage of light is let in when it's clear mode?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm in Los Angeles, and wouldn't you know it, that the day of this presentation, it's cloudy and rainy, which never happens in Los Angeles.
Of course.
In August. But most static windows, not dynamic. The tint is just static.
Sure.
Generally speaking, right? Now every building is slightly different, and all glass is a little bit different. But generally speaking, it's letting in around 35% of the light. We can let in up to 70% of the light and block 99% of the light. And then the way we've designed our insert, and the process that we've gone through of customer discovery, we're not a technology company that's making technology and saying, here it is, who wants to buy it? We're actually engaging with our prospective customers, and they're helping us design the product that uses our technology clearly to meet their needs. So that when it comes time to sell it, you've already got something that you know that they're going to want to buy. So in the process of doing that, Brent, we're actually designing our inserts to have strips, either 6 or 12-inch strips. And so you'll be able to control the top couple of strips and leave the bottom strips open, or vice versa. And it allows for that ambient light to still come in the room if you would like, or not. And frankly, even when the windows are in dark mode, there's still a lot of light in the office, and frankly, people still use overhead lighting. But there's a lot of optionality in the insert that we're designing, so that the building owner or the tenant or the occupant in the office has the ability to change things to meet their needs.
That's awesome. I mean, on this window behind me, there's like there's just little dots or whatever. I'm sure you know what it is, but I mean, what is the, I guess, upgrade potential for my windows back here or whatever? How many buildings out there are going to want your technology?
Well, so one of the things that I think is important to understand is that because this insert can be installed literally within a few minutes.
Sure.
We're not asking people to leave their office. We can install it overnight. We can install it over the weekend.
Sure.
The REITs that we're talking to are talking about deploying this across their entire portfolio.
Amazing.
So it's not just one building. If you think of the number of buildings in existence, there's 5.6 million in the United States alone. And one of the other things that we've done, in the process of customer discovery, we've learned that building owners don't like capital expenditures. So we're actually designing kind of a new business model in which the building owner can lease the insert from us on a 10-year basis, lowering their cost of entry, making it very easy for them to get involved, and still delivering a very compelling ROI and reducing the amount of carbon. So we think it's not only a great technology with a very innovative product, but an innovative business model that allows a building owner to move quickly and adopt the technology quickly as well.
That's awesome, Doug. So one more quick question here. So applications in things that are not buildings, in auto, in aircraft. Did you know I was going to ask that one?
No, I get that a lot though. So So there's a big difference between must have and nice to have.
Yeah.
And our application of our technology on a sunroof of a car, that's a nice to have.
The nice that, yeah.
Right? I mean, electric vehicles, it might actually be a must have, but for turbine engines, gas engines, it's probably not. In a residential setting, it's a very nice thing to be able to block the light coming through your skylight, at certain points of the morning, but it's not really going to lower your carbon emissions that are occurring at a house. And so the building owner and that target market represents a must-have application of our technology, and therefore the first market that we want to go after. And frankly, we'll make a bigger impact on the world by addressing that market first. We will get to the other markets. We won't get to them before we get to the office building market, though.
Great. You guys, your team knows your priorities and you know what you want to go for, and it sounds like you're going for it. So that's great, Doug. Thanks for answering the quick questions and really cool presentation, really cool company. It sounds like you got Doug Croxall. He is with Crown Electrokinetics, ticker CRKN. And I think I might just retire the Crown for the day after this, Doug. Thanks for joining, man. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you very much.